All right, so I found a piece of content. Can you lose white privilege? Can you not know what white privilege is as a white person? Let's find out. Let's listen to this lady. She's going to talk to us.
So when you say white, what do you think about? When I say white, I think about white American.
Okay, so for her, the definition of white is white people in America. It's kind of a weird definition if you ask me. Here's why I say that. Because white people in America are from Europe. That's exactly where they're from. Remember that they're not actually from this actual land. They lived in another part of the world and, migrated to here. That's the history of the United States of America. So to say, she's only thinking of, white people that live in America is a little bit kind of weird as a statement. I'm not sure where she's from, and I'm sure she's going to talk about that in the video in itself. But I think right off the cuff, it sounds a little bit disingenuous. But this is her experience. I'm just giving you a take from my standpoint. It sounds a bit disingenuous to say, okay, white only encompasses, white America. Because the truth of the matter is when we talk about white, you're going to have whites in England. You're going to have whites in Russia. You're going to have whites in Australia. You're going to have whites in South Africa. In fact, if you were to go to South Africa right now, there is apartheid there because of whites that are there that control most of the wealth in the population. So white is white. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. The point I'm making is white is white. There is no sect where we say, okay, there's this white people and then this white people. Just like we say black is black. It is what it is. If you're black, you're just black. If you are, Indian, you're Indian. If you are Chinese, you're Chinese. If you're Japanese, you're Japanese. That's all I'm saying to it. But hey, let's keep rolling.
And to me, white American culture has nothing to do with the way that I was raised, the way I grew up. So I just can't relate to those people.
Okay, so she's saying based on where she grew up, which we're going to find out again, we don't know, but she's saying she can't relate to it at all. I find it funny though, that with saying all of that, she actually has a way better American accent than I do, which I don't have any. I mean, maybe y'all can tell me I have one. I don't know. It doesn't sound American to me. It sounds pretty Jamaican. But hey, you may be out there. You may say, you know what, O'Neill, it sounds like your American accent is starting to kick in. Doesn't sound like that to me. But she's saying she's not able to relate to that. Now, by just grabbing the accent of a country, you sort of are getting into the actual culture in itself. You sort of are doing that. You may not have the entire piece of the culture. But again, hey, at least that. No, it could be that she was grown in a different country until she was like an adult. And then, eventually, I guess she started picking up this accent and doing what she's doing. So, hey, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, all right, I guess.
I can't relate to white privilege because I'm an immigrant. So,
Ooh, okay, let's stop that right there. So I'm going to call that out. And again, by the way, these are just my takes. Y'all are going to be able to give me this inside of the comments. Because you're an immigrant does not excuse the mere fact that you have the features of a white person, which is the hair texture, the skin tone, all of the ways that she looks like a white woman. When you look at her, that's what you're seeing, a white woman. Now, whether she wants to accept this or not, that is exactly what she looks like. It's like me saying basically, hey, I'm feeling kind of white today. I think I'd be ridiculed and laughed at, much like, much like Dave Chappelle in that movie where he thinks he's white.
Come on. White power. Nigger power.
I believe that that's what people would think of me if I were to start claiming that I was actually white. And so that's kind of where I'm getting at with her thing as well too. Not because you're an immigrant does not mean you're not still white. So she's saying she doesn't get much privilege at all, but all right, if she says so, I guess let's listen more.
already takes away all the privileges that you can possibly think of. I've been in corporate America. White men rule the world there, and trust me.
Okay, so I think that she's confusing two things. I think she's confusing gender with race, which you can't mix both of them. Gender and race falls in two different categories. Yes, gender has always had its historical issues here in America. Gender and race had issues. And you're talking about probably say in the 1960s when you had the Civil Rights Act, gender and race was in there. But it still didn't negate the mere fact that if you were white before the 1960s, way back into the the even the colonial period, and if you want to go back to then, let's really think about it. If you live down south and you live in some states, you couldn't drink at the same water cooler that a white person would drink at. I'm telling you right now, if we were back in that time, this lady will not be drinking at the black water cooler. Whether she wants to accept this or not, that would be the reality. That is just a reality. She would not be drinking at the black water cooler. She couldn't drink there. Black people would have frowned up on her drinking there, and white people would have frowned up on her drink and ask her why is she drinking there. So that again lets me know that she definitely is confusing both of the two. Now, we could say that women had less rights and, they were more bound, but that does not necessarily mean that race is mixed up in all of that. Your privileges have been way different. In fact, if we both were to go for a loan and they heard both of our names or saw both of our faces on a picture, I'm guaranteeing you, hey, again, don't argue with me, argue with stats because these are stats that you can look up. The chances of her getting a better percentage for her loan than I do is greater. It just is. Don't ask me, go ask the statistics. I'm not the one saying this. Hey, the numbers are out there for you. That's exactly where systemic issues come in.
As I've tried, I've been fired instead of being promoted. So I can't relate to that.
I ain't never the white women, man.
I don't like when people call me white because I'm Russian. I'm not white.
Okay, so she's saying she's Russian, so she's not white. Okay, I understand if you want to claim a nationality, that's fine. Nothing is wrong with claiming an actual nationality. That's cool. But that does not negate the fact that she's white. It is what it is. Now, she may not see that, and she may not see herself as white, and nothing is wrong with that. You're able to judge it how you want to judge it, because again, it really is your call. But the truth of the matter is, society is going to treat us differently. And I'm like a good, comparison for her because I'm black. It is what it is. I'm dark-skinned black. Like, there's no mistakenness about it. I hope she understands that there were black people who were very light-skinned, who identified as white, and was able to pass and get better loans, better schooling, and better opportunities versus just people who looked like myself, who were just black and didn't get those opportunities. So whether or not you want to accept the privilege, it exists. Not because you do not want to confront the privilege does not mean it doesn't exist. It's like that old thing when people say, I don't see color. I know what you're trying to say. The only thing is, color just exists. It's a construct. It's there. There's nothing you can do about it. Unless the system changes, then color is going to always exist. You're going to have white. You're going to have black. You're going to have Chinese. You're going to have Hispanics. You're going to have these things. Unless that particular construct in society has been deconstructed and it's just all one thing, that's what you're going to have. But hey, great hanging out with y'all. Give me your take on this. Can a white person not have white privilege? Give me a take on that. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to talk to y'all soon.